I know most collectors already know about these big hitters. Big hitters such as the Bubble Mew from Paldean Fates, Charizard from 151, Pikachu from Surging Sparks, and the list goes on and on. Alright, so as we move towards 2026 into more expansion sets from the new era Mega Evolution, I wanted to share with you guys, in my opinion, the most underrated special illustration rares from 2023 all the way to 2025 that you should pick up for your binder today. And did you know that almost 80% of my viewers are not currently subscribed to the channel? So it'd be really helpful if you could click the subscribe button down below. And without further ado, let's move on to the cards. Alright, starting with SIR number 1, it is the Alakazam EX from 151. Alright, this card is super duper underrated, but I can understand why. So it is kind of dominated by the Charizard, the Blastoise, and the Venusaur, followed by the very beautiful Zapdos as well. So we're not gonna have Zapdos in this list because I think it is a very beautiful card, so I don't think it's underrated. But what is underrated is this Alakazam EX right here. A look at the details. This is my favorite card of this set. So here are the prices on screen right now. And moving on to SIR number 2. Card number 2 is the Parasol lady from Paradox Rift. Alright, so I'm actually not a big fan of the waifu cards. When I first saw this card, I was like, whoa, this is actually a very nice art. This one right here just felt very calming to look at. Her holding an umbrella and then there's a nice little rainbow at the backdrop. Paradox Rift is a funny one. The most expensive card is not actually a special illustration rare, it's actually the illustration rare Groudon, which I still want to get my hands on. Surprisingly, for Parasol lady, it is really affordable. And maybe because it's not the most popular waifu style card, I don't know. And at around 17 bucks, you can either trade for it or pick it up for your binder. Alright, moving on to card number 3. It is yet another trainer. It is the Clive SIR from Paldean Fates. First time I saw this card, I was like, this reminds me of Where's Wally? Okay, so I'm a sucker for having a lot more characters in the art. So this one, it not only has like multiple trainers in it, it actually has a lot of Pokemon in it. Pokemon such as Hoppip, Charcadet, Lechonk. I'm guessing a lot of you guys didn't even notice there's so many Pokemon and that as a side up right there. Right? So if you see it, pick it up because it's a beautiful card. Alright, moving on to SIR number 4. In this very popular set, and in my opinion one of the top tier sets of Scarlet and Violet, a set that's dominated by a Mewtwo, a Ho-Oh, Garchomp. I think you guys know where I'm going. It is Team Rocket's Nidoking special illustration rare. Alright, so the reason why I feel like it's underrated despite its price, because Nidoking is not the most popular Pokemon out there. Let's face it, because I'm an old fart, I kind of remember Nidoking as one of the OG Giovanni's Pokemon. So when I saw this art, I was like, finally a decent looking Nidoking card. I feel like despite its price, it's extremely underrated. It could be something for you to consider picking up for your binder, but if it's a little bit too pricey, you can go for the full art version instead. Not as much details, but it's still a Nidoking. Moving on to the next card, special illustration rare number 5. This one is a little bit of a weird one, alright? And I also bring you guys all the way back to 2023. Yep, that's 2 whole years ago. That's when Pokemon TCG introduced the Scarlet and Violet era into our lives. And we started off with the base set. The top chase was the special illustration rare Gardevoir. So the reason why I chose this is because kind of a sleeper card in terms of special illustration rares and in terms of the top chase of the set, right? This card right here is one of the cheapest that you can find in terms of prices, hovering at around 60 to 65 Singapore dollars to get a top chase special illustration rare. That's a no-brainer for me, and I'm definitely gonna try and pick one up at a trade show as soon as I can. And as we move to card number 6, it is from one of the least popular sets of Scarlet and Violet. So despite not being a super popular set, they do have some banger cards out there. That's why this card is on the list. It is Morty's Conviction Special Illustration Rare. It is a trainer card, but it does feature a very popular Pokemon. A lot of people's favorites. It's a Gengar, one for the Gengar collectors out there to consider picking up for your binder. And another card that I feel like is super underrated. And moving on to SIR number 7. Now, card number 7, I have a confession to make, alright? I know that some of you guys really enjoy the rainbow bordered cards, but I'm not a fan. Okay, with the exception, with the big exception of this card. And honestly, I think that this card might be in my personal top 10 most favorite cards of all time. It is Surging Sparks, in my opinion, the most underrated card of the set. It is the Alolan Exeggutor EX Special Illustration Rare. I feel like this is one of the most beautiful cards ever made. I don't know what it is about this card, but the colors just complement each other so well. The colors just complements the rainbow border, it complements the Alolan Exeggutor, and they managed to even smartly fit the entire Pokemon into one card just by making it curl backwards. And it is a relatively affordable card. It's like $35 to $45 depending on condition. I've been actually looking for one in a PSA 10. So I've been looking for this card for my own personal collection for a while now. So yeah, maybe it's something that you might want to consider for your binder as well. And we move on to the penultimate card, Special Illustration Rare number 8. Card number 8 is the Hydreigon EX from White Flare. Alright, so White Flare, Blackboard White Flare is pretty recent. It's only a few months old, and White Flare is the lesser popular set of the two. But of course, in White Flare, you can still pull the red Victini, the white Reshiram, but only in White Flare can you pull the Hydreigon EX. To be very honest, I never even knew that this card existed. I was looking through Blackboard and White Flare. I realized that this card is actually super duper underrated. It's a cool art, but I don't think it's very popular Pokemon. But when I looked at this card, I was very happy. Okay, I have no idea who the artist is. I have no idea what he or she was thinking when they created this art, but you know what I thought? I thought it reminded me of King Ghidorah from Godzilla. King Ghidorah really spooked me as a kid. I grew up watching a lot of Godzilla films, and there was one movie, I can't remember which one it was, but Godzilla was getting destroyed by King Ghidorah. This Hydreigon card just kind of reminds me of it, and it is one that I feel like I'm gonna get for my binder. But another one that's not exactly the cheapest card is hovering around $100 Singapore dollars. May or may not be something that you want to consider, but to me it is super duper underrated. And as we move on to the last Special Illustration Rare, and it is the Gholdengo EX from, come on, we had to talk about this set, right? From Prismatic Evolutions. In a set that is extremely dominated by the Eeveelutions SIRs, particularly the Sunbreon. There are a lot of other SIRs that are really sleepers, I feel. But this Gholdengo EX, I've personally pulled it before in the Demigod pack. I don't have it anymore. I've actually sold the card since. Do I regret it? Yes, I do. Do I want it back? Yes, I do. This card actually grew on me, and that is why it is actually the last card on this list. It really grew on me. I didn't even notice that there were buildings behind the coins until I looked at the card. Then it just reminded me of the Silver Surfer, or rather in this case it's a Golden Surfer. So yeah, there you have it, the 9 most underrated Special Illustration Rares that you could consider getting. And you don't have to always consider the heavy hitters, because let's face it, not all of us are printing cash. Alright, for the people who like 12 slot binders, here are my 3 honorable mentions. And there you have it, the 9 underrated Special Illustration Rares that you can consider picking up before the end of 2025. You know what, actually you can always still pick them up in 2026. Let's keep this hope alive that the market will correct itself soon, and that we as collectors, as hobbies, can start really enjoying the hobby and not continuously paying through the roof. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, it would be really helpful if you could subscribe to the channel. You can also drop a like and comment on this video. That's it for today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.